Hello again. We will look at the dirtiest fouls that humankind has ever witnessed in the film we have for you today. We'll pull some tackles from football history that would undoubtedly land the tackler in prison today. It allowed players like Vinnie Jones to have two successful lives. A perfectly timed slide tackle is beautiful, as I'm sure you'll concur, but it can go very badly when it goes wrong. It's not a pretty scene either. Some of these horrifying collisions are the outcome of errors in judgment. Some fights are pure and utter filth, and would look more at home in a cage fight due to an imbalance between the defender and attacker, or just plain dumb poor luck. Keep watching until the end of the video to see the tackle that forever altered the path of football history. Although Boris Johnson may not have had the best reputation in the political world, he certainly has a knack for timing tackles, whether he's running over young rugby players or not. Alternatively, during an England versus Germany charity match, providing Maurizio Galeno is a significant reducer. It's safe to say that Bojo would have made a fierce center back. Let's look at some of the dirtiest penalties in football history, all humor aside. We can all agree that football in the 1970s and 1980s differed significantly from today's, with only a few SND in the sight. You could be imprisoned today for some of the tackles thrown in during Madonna's heyday. We begin in Spain because it is prime. In 1983, participants were unprotected from VAR, numerous camera angles, and extremely slow-motion video, so it needed something special. Or it should be known as when Andoni go chair. He acquired the moniker Bilbao's Butcher for himself. That didn't have much to do with his chorizo, which won several awards. Goy Tandoori chairs, active people go. With Marta in charge in Bilbao as an obvious second choice to Barcelona. Before Goy Curry Chair decided to take things into his own hands, that is, and pounced from behind, folding his foot like an origami swan as he attacked the Argentine playmaker. Although he was subsequently given a 10-game suspension for the appalling challenge that left Madonna stranded on the lines for 9 miserable months, the enforcer wasn't even issued a warning. Next, the European Cup quarter-final second match between Rangers and Stur occurred in 1988. Rangers host Bucharest. Even a football hooligan would be sickened by Graham Sonny's dare. In his heyday, Graham Souness was a fantastic performer and led a great Liverpool squad. He lacked an excellent crunching slide tackle and never backed out of a 50-50. But this Star Wars Joseph Terry meal was a complete mess. It almost led to the first murder scene in sports. To make matters worse, the foul went unchecked, leaving Terry on the operating table with ruptured lymph nodes as a result of the challenge. Later, Braterio disclosed that his doctor had warned him that the injury could have been deadly if Souness had struck him an inch higher. One of those actions that looking back you wish you hadn't done. Excellent thought. We then traveled to Spain to attend the 1982 World Cup. West Germany and France's semifinal matchup was sure to be a fiercely contested one. West Germany, the current European champions, lined up with players like Paul Breitner and Karl-Heinz Ruger, along with the French squad that has appeared most frequently. Great, Jean Tigner and Michel Ney. The city gained an early advantage, but France quickly tied the score for the match. Great, Michel Platini is shooting from the penalty spot as the hour mark draws near. Patrick Bateson set off the offside trap after slipping a pass through the German defense and getting closer to Harald Schumacher's objective. However, the giant German goalie violently cleared Patterson out of the game by flying out of his box like a dive bomber. The Frenchman was declared out for the game with fractured ribs and 2 fewer teeth than when he entered the field. Incredibly, after an astonishing 3-all stalemate, the referee signaled for a spot kick, and West Germany went on to win the match on penalties. As the savior of the moment, Schumacher stops 2 sacre bleu spot kicks. Dude, you've been chancellor, unrepentant about the event, Schumacher. I am stating that Ziff is the only one. Tell him I'll pay his dentist, they replied, earning him the top position in a newspaper poll of France's most despised citizens, defeating Adolf Hitler, the last German to have trampled them. Next, we quickly advanced to 2008. Arsenal was 5 points ahead of Birmingham City and on track to win the Premier League for the first time in 4 years as we traveled to St Andrews, the home of Birmingham City, for the arrival of the league leaders. However, the encounter signaled the beginning of a downward trend that would ultimately lead to Arsenal's season-ending loss of the Gal slid the ball inside to Eduardo, whose clinical ability and 12 goals in 22 starts had helped Arsenal take the lead. The forward between the lines with quick feet, He was downhill completed. Lumbering is in Birmingham. Center back. Taylor Martin. Unfortunately for Eduardo, Taylor's last-ditch effort to lunge for the ball only managed to break Eduardo's leg bones and dislocate his ankle because Eduardo was too fast for Taylor, and his limb wasn't the only thing that was broken. Peach too received the team's support because it was sickening to see Eduardo's leg curl around like a shrimp. With Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger asking for a lifetime ban, Martin Taylor called red for the challenge. Later, Eduardo realized that Taylor hadn't intentionally hurt him, just poor luck. Unfortunately, Eduardo never fully recovered, leaving his admirers to speculate about what might have been. For the following challenge on the list, we continue to use the Arsenal. Arsenal went to the Britannia Stadium in February 2010. Stoke is now a unique kind of community. Group Soar, hey Stoke, to use a phrase from Ferguson and Arsene Guard, is a challenging location. Aaron Ramsey, a playmaker for Wales, would undoubtedly concur. The moniker Ryan might be well known to viewers in the US. Sure, Cross most recently, I departed for Florida. Bless him now. The former Stoke defender rarely had the appearance of a professional football player. After taking a heavy signature contact at his worst, he appeared to be a 7-foot Boris Johnson on steroids. Sure, Cross slammed into Aaron Ramsey in a challenge that broke his leg and destroyed the talented midfielder. Sure, as the referee signaled the red card, Cross was left holding his head while Ramsey had to endure a taxing rehabilitation on the periphery. If you're asking why Stoke is such a unique place, remember that they always jeered Ramsey whenever he returned, and that a run Ramsey became their favorite chant after that. It is a fact that he has a disability. I assured you that I would make a tackle that would alter football annals for all time. And it is now. The stage is prepared. A fiery Manchester derby in 2001 will live on in our memories eternally. The red corner over one horrifying instant. Alfie Haar, a solid but unspectacular Norwegian midfielder, plays alongside Roy Keane, a renowned football hardman, known for his brutal, take-no-prisoners attitude to the game in the blue corner. This tackle has a little history to it. When Haaland was a member of Leeds United in 1997, Roy Keane tore his cruciate ligament during a harmless fight with Haaland. Haaland stood over Keane and yelled at him, thinking the Irishman had faked an injury and was out of action for almost a year. "I didn't want to shoot him," Keane later recalled in his book. "I wished to stand over him and strike him. And boy, oh boy, when the two clashed at Old Trafford." Did Keane succeed in his goals? With a stamp that connected above the knee rag, Keane struck Haaland, doling the Norwegian and sending him directly to the hospital. Shocking. In a photograph just as well known as the one of Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston, Hart was subjected to ferocious HD abuse as he stood over his target. Aside from the fact that footballers should celebrate when they place the ball in their neck rather than their opponent's deck, you said tomato. Roy Keane affirms. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.